for the hit there. Our next guest is, first off, I'm a huge fan. Huge fan. Now, I'm a small fan compared to you because you're huge. And using huge and me is only the belt size. Bob the Beast Sapp is huge in Japan. Actually, at 6'5", 360 pounds, Bob is huge anywhere he goes. Bob's a former Washington Husky, for which we thank you, an NFL football player who switched careers to kickboxing and mixed martial arts, and quickly became a household name in Japan. You're bigger than Cheap Trick. And if you add all of them together, too, and weigh them, you're still bigger than Cheap Trick.
Oh, yeah.
Bob the Beast Sapp, welcome home to Seattle and to the Bob River Show.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Oh, my God. You even sound scary.
So first thing I want to ask you is, when you left pro football, the NFL football, the game we're all familiar with, was it because of injury or foresight of potential injury, or what caused you to leave the NFL?
Well, it was, let's talk about the position I played. What we say is butt back. That meant I ran out on the field, and coach said, Bob, bring your butt right back. So, between that and, of course, getting injured, well, you know, it was not in the cards for the Beast or for Bob at that time to play in the NFL, but I guess you would probably say I wasn't really playing, besides that maybe I got a couple Gatorade out there.
Okay. You played for 4 teams in 4 years.
Yeah, 4 teams, 4 years. I was third-round draft pick coming out of the University of Washington in '97, number 69, which, you know, hey, that's a pretty good number, right?
My favorite. So scared.
You look like a sweetheart, though, in all honesty. I'm sure you're a sweetheart.
Thank you.
After that, you went to the WCW as a wrestler, which wrestling isn't, you know, I mean, it looks hard. And it's like football, you're hitting people and stuff, but it's not like now. I mean, you're hitting people, you're fighting. When did you transition to where you really got it? I mean, you're fighting for your life now. That's kind of an easy thing to transition to.
Definitely is. And after the NFL, I was injured, and I got a call from the FBI and SEC, and they said, you know what, all that money that you've saved up, which was about $1 million at that time, you're broke. And I, of course, ended up being depressed, going homeless, and some of the friends that I made at the Minnesota Vikings, they said, hey, Bob, listen, you just can't stay in your house. You got to do something. I sent out a videotape to WCW and WWF, which is now WWE. I picked WCW. Things went very well. Down there in Atlanta, Georgia, I became real popular. They loved it. You know, I was the Beast. I was Bob. And everything was going nuts. Actually, I was actually the B.O.B. I wasn't the Beast yet at that time. However, right before my television contract, well, they went bankrupt. So I was unemployed yet again. I did an FX Tough Man show where I fought William the Refrigerator Perry.
I remember that.
I was caught up picked up by K1, and of course the Japanese market. And they said, hey, we think you can come over here and do that same kind of image in the Beast over here. So I did. I brought the pro wrestling character, the Beast, and then of course I did the real fighting over there, which was Muay Thai kickboxing. For an organization called K1, I fought underneath Pride, which was the mixed martial arts organization that's recently been bought by UFC. Well, things went very well. The rest is history. How much history? Well, about 70 commercials, over 400 products, over 4,000 television shows, and on the cover of over 100,000 magazines, including Time Magazine, of course, the Wall Street Journal. I've got everything from a rap album CD that I sold 200,000 copies, over 400,000 slot machines, and of course, the kicker, here we go, guys, even a Bob Sapp woman sex toy.
Wow. Yeah, a sex toy called the Beast.
Yeah,
guys, don't worry about it. Guys will be happy to follow that. Sure, we won't have any problem. Thanks, we appreciate it.
What kind of products? Like food and stuff? You got an official rice and...
Yeah, I've got an official cereal, an official gum, an official ice cream bar, an official cell phone, an official underwear. You've got Bob Sapp everything. Actually, they had some stores over there that had, it was, instead of 7-Eleven, you had Bob Sapp, so you bought all Bob Sapp items over there in the store.
Kidding me. How long did it take for that empire? That's a tidal wave.
Yeah, that happened in about 8 months.
8 months.
Yeah. So, well, the total tidal wave happened in 8 months. Now, of course, the end of it, or so to speak, the 70 plus commercials. That's now, of course, what it is today.
Right.
But that took about 8 months. So within that 8 months, you saw that huge tidal wave. So within about that 8 months, on month number 6, I was already gracing the cover of Time Magazine. So I had already hit, mega stardom at that time.
What is it about you? I mean, a lot of athletes have gone to Japan for various sports, and they're popular, but nobody's that. Nobody's the beast.
Yeah. So
what is it about?
Well, one, I was extremely lucky and fortunate, but the second thing was, I think through my ups and downs, what it taught me is to try to always respond back in a positive manner. And of course, I'm a little quirky, a little weird, and so is Japan. So you know what, the beast can fit right in there. And at 6'4", 370 pounds, it's a little difficult to fit in everywhere. But in Japan, actually, it was able to fit rather perfectly.
Well, I'm curious about the whole idea of performing martial arts in Japan. I mean, people there seem to know martial arts pretty darn well. How did you go from playing football, which is a very different skill set, to learning martial arts well enough to compete against Asian people?
Yeah, so what I did is, and we fight from everyone, obviously, everyone from around the world. So that happens to be the mecca for the capital, so to speak, from around the world. So we're not only going against everyone in Japan, we're going against Thailand, we're going against the Dutch, Russians, and everybody else out there. So African, you have everyone comes from around the world that will compete and fight in Japan. That's where the number one fighting is, in Japan. So what I use is, well, for pro football, I would sometimes get a three-point stance and do my big rush, and of course for the push I would also use, like I was an offensive lineman. And for mixed martial arts in particular, well, hey, when I didn't know any of the moves, I just had to pick you up, powerbomb you, and this time really make sure it goes straight down, right on, directly on your head. And that's exactly what I did in front of over 100,000 people.
Wrestling fans are rabid, but non-wrestling fans or peripheral fans of wrestling in America, we don't give it a lot of credibility.
That's
a lot of scripted stuff, a lot of predetermined bouts. What's the story in MMA? Is it
MMA? So, well, let's talk about Strikeforce. Strikeforce is very similar to you watching your very favorite action-packed movie and picking out your hero. So they allow you to see the hero, allow you to feel the entrances, and then imagine right after that movie you see your favorite actors going out in the parking lot and squabbing it and duking it out. Well, that's definitely what you've got here with Strikeforce. They lead you into it. You're able to get behind the characters. You're able to get behind the fighters. But then you really see real fights, really real punches. Not anything is pulled, not anything is scripted. So like wrestling, we say it's real, but it's real imaginative.
Right.
Well, this time this is real pain and real hitting
real
and real. That's right, real danger. So you got to be real careful.
And there's not many rules, is there? I mean, I know there's a couple places you can't hit, and that's about it.
That's right. There's pretty much, you're looking at no rules, and so very familiar with anyone who follows UFC. This is the same type of rules, same type of style. So the only difference is like I said, it builds up. You lead the story. With UFC, it's kind of just like, hey, you pay to see the fight this way, you're paying to see the entertainment, and you're also paying to see the fight.
How do people stay friends? I mean, if you're really trying to kill each other, do you go out for a beer afterwards?
How do you assume they are?
Yeah, but no, actually we do. But it's so scary because what happens is we have the red corner and you have the blue corner.
Now you mentioned that you have a Bob Sapp sex.
That's right, the wild Sapp.
Is it with the wild Sapp?
That's right.
Did you pose for that?
Yeah, no, I didn't pose for it. Yeah, no,
we know that because I know there's some chicks that follow Aerosmith around like plaster cast or something.
That's right.
So it's just kind of fact.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those little deals, and they just kind of look at it and say, hey, let's check it out and see whether or not it's Bob Sapp. You know what I mean?
Thanks, guys. Thanks for coming in. It's great to
No problem. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
You bet.